Gal of Constant Sorrow is the 14th episode of the 27th season of The Simpsons, directed by Matthew Nastuk, and it's okay, it's not too bad. It's definitely one of those episodes that I can take or leave, but I think it also provided an interesting character study. I'll get to the main narrative in a moment. The subplot involves Homer being a handy man. The gap between the words there is intentional. And he traps the cat under the floor by mistake, and he has to try and get the cat out without Marge noticing, because Marge will then think he's not so much of a handy man. And I feel like that narrative was only there to break up the main narrative, and I think that it arrived at the right time, and I think it cut to that at moments when the main narrative was maybe getting a little bit heavy, so it injected a bit of humour. I liked the role that it played, even though it wasn't the most fascinating part of the episode. The episode actually focuses on this character called Hetty. She's voiced by Kate McKinnon, and her singing voice is by Natalie Maines. And Hetty is a homeless woman who Bart ends up, for one reason or another, hiding in his closet, giving her somewhere to stay. And Lisa finds out, and Lisa's first thought, of course, is to tell on Bart, but then Lisa realises that Hetty is a beautiful singer, and they bond over music, and Lisa decides that she wants to share Hetty's talent with the world, or at least with Springfield. But, things don't necessarily go according to Lisa's plan, and I'll say no more than that, but I absolutely did not expect the direction it took, and I thought it worked really well. And Hetty's a really interesting character, and to study her behaviours, her backstory, we get quite a bit of information about her backstory, given that it's only 20-something minutes. We learn a lot about her, or there are questions about her backstory that are never really answered, and that's kind of the point, the mystery of this character, and the fact that she's very multi-layered. And it's also helping to say that here's a homeless person who's down on her luck. There could be reasons for that the episode does touch upon those, but also looking beyond that, she's this beautiful musician that people might be willing to watch perform and enjoy the music of, and I think it is an interesting character study in that regard. The episode definitely relied on Hetty being interesting, and she was, and I liked her. In terms of the animation design of her, I think she looks really good, and in terms of her personality, I was really fascinated by her. Whenever we learned something new about her, I was just more and more intrigued, and I thought she was pretty great. I think they did a really good job with her. Had that not been the case, I wouldn't have enjoyed this very much. But thankfully, she's pretty good. Gal of Constant Sorrow is definitely a decent episode. We have some great music in this, of course, as well. So it may never be a personal favourite episode of The Simpsons. I can see that it's really strong. And if somebody really favours this one, I could completely understand that. It's definitely pretty good.